Philadelphia Eagles have once again proven that they know how to dominate the draft. In 2025, Eagles general manager Howie Roseman, a mastermind in the front office, showed that his commitment to building from the trenches, specifically the offensive line, remains a cornerstone of the team's success. This strategy is not only effective, but has been a key factor in the Eagles' recent Super Bowl victory, where their offensive line played an essential role in their championship run. Chase Sr., host of Philadelphia Eagles Now on Chat Sports, started off the show with high praise for the Eagles draft. May had just begun, and with the weekend approaching, fans and analysts were looking ahead to what the Eagles could achieve in the coming season. The first topic was a deep dive into the offensive line and the specific selections that Howie Roseman made during the draft. Among the praise was a particularly enthusiastic endorsement from Brandon Thorne, a respected expert in offensive line play, who had high marks for the Eagles' selections, especially those focused on strengthening the offensive line. Brandon Thorne, known for his in-depth analysis of the trenches through his work with Bleacher Report and his Trench Warfare newsletter, made it clear that he was a fan of the Eagles' approach. Thorne is highly regarded in the NFL community for his expertise, and his analysis of the Eagles' draft decisions provided further confirmation of what many already suspected. Roseman was aiming to improve the offensive line, even though the Eagles' line was already one of the best in the league. Last season, the Eagles boasted a top 5 offensive line that helped quarterback Jalen Hurts perform at an elite level and provided Saquon Barkley with the space to set rushing records. It was his dominant offensive line play that, in large part, made the Eagles Super Bowl champions. The general consensus surrounding Roseman's strategy in the 2025 draft was that he was once again prioritizing depth and long-term success, especially within the trenches. Despite having one of the league's strongest offensive lines, Roseman wasn't complacent. Instead, he took a calculated approach by selecting 3 new offensive linemen in the draft. Drew Kendall, a center from Boston College, Cameron Williams, an offensive tackle from Texas, and Miles Hinton, another offensive tackle who had transferred from Stanford to Michigan. According to Thorne, these selections were not only well thought out, but also reflected the Eagles' deep commitment to building a dominant offensive line that could maintain its excellence for years to come. Thorne gave high marks to all 3 linemen, with Kendall, who was selected in the 5th round, earning a late round 4 grade from Thorne. This indicated that he was projected to go higher than where he ended up, making him one of the draft's hidden gems. Hinton too was given a late 4 grade, while Williams, who many scouts were high on, was given a round 3 grade by Thorne. The praise for Williams was particularly strong, with some calling him one of the biggest steals in the entire draft. One notable anecdote from the draft process came from Reed Bark, an Eagles fan and producer at Chat Sports, who shared a memorable experience. Reed was flying to Philadelphia for a wedding and found himself sitting next to none other than Cameron Williams, the very player the Eagles had just drafted. It was a surprising coincidence, but it also served as a reminder that these players are not just drafted names. They are real people who are now a part of the Eagles' bright future. What makes the Eagles' approach even more impressive is their attention to NFL bloodlines. Both Kendall and Hinton come from football families, with their fathers having combined for over 360 starts on the offensive line during their careers. This pedigree only adds to the excitement surrounding these players. The Eagles believe that players with strong football backgrounds have a higher chance of succeeding at the NFL level, and Kendall and Hinton's experiences offer them a leg up. Thorne also highlighted that Kendall, who started 37 games at center for Boston College, will provide essential depth behind Cam Jurgens, the newly re-signed starting center for the Eagles. Kendall's experience in a run-heavy, zone-based scheme made him a perfect fit for what the Eagles do. His ability to anchor down in pass protection and sail off lanes as a run blocker makes him an ideal candidate for the backup center job. His football IQ and versatile skills should allow him to step in and contribute immediately if needed. Given that Jurgens has dealt with back surgery in the past, having a reliable backup is crucial, and Kendall's experience makes him more than capable of filling that role. On the other hand, the question remains about the right guard position. The Eagles are still figuring out who will take over the spot, as it has been somewhat of an ongoing issue. Tyler Steen, who was drafted by the Eagles in the 3rd round last year, has shown promise but still needs to develop. The team's decision to trade for Kenyon Green earlier in the offseason shows that they believe in Green's potential, despite his struggles early in his career. It's clear that Roseman and the Eagles coaching staff are willing to give these players every chance to prove themselves. As for the new additions, Thorne was particularly high on Williams and Hinton, both of whom bring tremendous size and raw potential. These players may be raw and inexperienced, but they have the physical tools to become excellent players in the NFL. Williams, in particular, is a massive figure who, despite being slightly slow at times in college, possesses the athleticism to be a dominant force in the NFL. Hinton, similarly, has the size and athletic ability to make an impact, but his true potential could be unlocked if he develops properly in the Eagles' renowned offensive line development system under Jeff Stoutland. The role of Jeff Stoutland, the Eagles' offensive line coach, cannot be overstated. Stoutland has been instrumental in the development of the Eagles' offensive line and has helped turn raw talent into a dominant force. Williams and Hinton will benefit from his coaching, and with their natural athleticism and size, they could become key players for the Eagles down the road. And the Eagles have consistently produced elite offensive line talent, and with Stoutland at the helm, it's easy to see how these young players could thrive. Thorne also mentioned that while Williams may struggle with speed rushers at times, his long-term upside is too good to pass up. His potential to transition into a guard if tackle doesn't work out adds another layer of value to his draft selection. Hinton too could end up transitioning inside if his tackle play doesn't develop as expected. The beauty of these selections is the flexibility they provide. Whether as tackles or guards, these players offer options for the Eagles and their offensive line for years to come. In addition to these new draft picks, the Eagles also brought in undrafted free agent Holland. Pierce, a massive offensive lineman out of Rutgers. Pierce has the potential to develop into a solid player under Stoutland's tutelage, although he will need to refine his technique and become more physical in his play. Pierce, like many of the Eagles' offensive line selections, offers significant upside and could prove to be a key depth piece moving forward. The 2025 draft marked another step in the Eagles' commitment to building a team that wins in the trenches. With a stacked roster that includes elite offensive line play, Howie Roseman's decisions continue to reflect his belief that games are won and lost up front. Roseman's strategy is simple yet effective. Gather as much talent as possible in the trenches, and the team will reap the rewards. With a core of established offensive line stars and a solid pipeline of young talent, the Eagles' future looks incredibly bright. As the draft unfolded, it became clear that the Eagles were not content with resting on their laurels. They were out to improve, and with Howie Roseman at the helm, there's no doubt that this team is built for sustained success. The additions of Kendall, Williams, Hinton, and others ensure that the Eagles will remain one of the most dominant teams in the league, both on the offensive line and across the entire roster. The 2025 NFL Draft was a resounding success for the Philadelphia Eagles, and fans should be excited for what the future holds. As the second round of the draft unfolded, Howie Roseman's strategy continued to impress fans and analysts alike. While the focus on the trenches, specifically the offensive line, had garnered plenty of attention, the Eagles' front office remained as meticulous as ever in selecting players who could provide immediate impact, while also addressing long-term needs. Roseman's keen eye for talent and his willingness to take calculated risks were once again on full display, demonstrating his understanding that building a championship contending team requires a balance between immediate contributors and players who will grow into their roles over time. While the offensive line selections were perhaps the most talked about aspect of the draft, Roseman was far from done. The Eagles, despite having one of the most complete rosters in the NFL, had lingering needs at positions like linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver. Many fans were hopeful that the team would address these areas and provide further depth and competition for the upcoming season. Roseman's draft approach reflected an understanding that while the team was strong, the NFL is an ever-evolving league and constant improvement is necessary to remain on top. One of the most exciting picks came early in the second round when the Eagles selected Elijah Thompson, a cornerback from Georgia. Thompson was considered one of the best players available at his position, and the Eagles were quick to pounce on the opportunity to bring him into the fold. His ability to shut down wide receivers and his playmaking skills made him an ideal fit for the Eagles' defensive scheme, which has become known for its aggressive, opportunistic nature under defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Thompson's addition to the Eagles' secondary was seen as a crucial one. Despite having a strong group of cornerbacks led by Darius Slay and James Bradbury, the Eagles had a clear need for more depth at the position, with the NFC East becoming increasingly competitive, especially with the emergence of strong receiving corps in teams like the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles needed to make sure they had enough talent to compete against the league's elite pass catchers. Thompson, with his physicality, ball skills, and confidence, was seen as a player who could potentially make an immediate impact on special teams and over time develop into a key starter opposite Slay. Thompson wasn't the only defensive player that the Eagles were looking at to bolster their defense. In the third round, they took a chance on one of the most intriguing players in the draft, Miles Richardson, a linebacker from Clemson. Richardson had flown under the radar during the regular season but turned heads during the draft process with his athleticism, instincts, and versatility. At 6'3" and 240 pounds, Richardson has the size to compete in the NFL, but it's his speed and ability to read offenses that made him stand out. He showed his potential as a sideline-to-sideline linebacker with a knack for making plays, whether in coverage or as a run defender. The Eagles, who had struggled to find consistent play from their linebacking core in recent years, were hopeful that Richardson could step in and help solidify that group. While some critics were skeptical about the pick, citing Richardson's lack of big-time production at Clemson, others saw it as a high-upside move. Defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon is known for his creative, multifaceted defensive schemes and Richardson's ability to cover a lot of ground, and his athletic profile made him an ideal candidate for that system. The Eagles had invested in the linebacker position in recent drafts, and it was clear that they saw Richardson as a potential gem, someone who could develop into a starter down the road and provide much-needed depth to a position group that had been a weak spot for the team in recent seasons. As the draft moved into its later rounds, Roseman's focus shifted toward adding more playmakers who could contribute on offense. The Eagles had one of the most potent offenses in the NFL, largely thanks to the combination of Jalen Hurts, the offensive line, and an explosive group of playmakers led by wide receivers A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. However, what I knew the team understood, that depth and versatility were crucial, especially in a league that often sees injuries impact key players throughout the season. As a result, the Eagles were on the lookout for additional offensive weapons who could help ease the load on the 10 stars. With that in mind, the Eagles selected Marcus Fields, a wide receiver from TCU, in the 4th round. Fields was known for his elite speed and ability to stretch the field, an asset that could provide Hurts with another deep threat option. Fields had turned heads during his college career with his ability to track the ball and make contested catches downfield. While some doubted whether he could translate his college success to the NFL, the Eagles saw a player who could bring an additional dimension to the already potent offense. Fields was expected to add competition to the wide receiver room and provide depth in case of injury. He would likely start off as a rotational piece, but his development under the guidance of wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead could lead to a significant role down the line. The 5th round also saw the Eagles bring in another intriguing offensive player, tight end Nolan Shaw from Michigan. Shaw, a gifted pass catcher with excellent route running skills, was considered one of the top tight end prospects in the draft. His size, 6'6", and physicality made him a red zone threat, and the Eagles saw him as a potential complement to their existing tight ends, including the talented Dallas Goedert. With Shaw's ability to create mismatches with defenders, the Eagles believed he could become a key piece in their 2 tight end sets, further enhancing the versatility of their offense. The team didn't stop there, continuing to bolster their depth chart with key picks throughout the draft. In the 6th round, they selected Jeremiah Palmer, a running back from Oregon. Palmer was known for his ability to catch passes out of the backfield and his burst through the hole. While he wasn't expected to challenge for a starting role immediately, he brought a level of explosiveness that could make him an asset on special teams or in certain situational packages. Palmer's ability to contribute as a pass-catching back was seen as a nice complement to the power-running style of Miles Sanders, and it gave the Eagles more flexibility in how they could attack opposing defenses. As the draft came to a close, the Eagles had successfully addressed a wide variety of needs. They had strengthened their depth at cornerback, linebacker, and wide receiver, while also adding key offensive weapons that could help them compete for another Super Bowl title. Roseman's draft strategy once again demonstrated his ability to balance both the short-term and long-term goals of the franchise. While the Eagles were built to win now, they had also stocked up on young talent that could carry the team for years to come. What made this draft particularly exciting for Eagles fans was the combination of established players and emerging stars. The team had already built a championship-caliber roster, but with the additions made in the 2025 draft, they were only going to get stronger. With a deep roster that included elite talent at virtually every position, the Eagles were poised to remain one of the most formidable teams in the league for the foreseeable future. Looking ahead to the 2025 season, there's no question that the Eagles are one of the teams to watch. With Jalen Hurts at the helm and a supporting cast that includes A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and a revamped offensive line, they have all the pieces in place to continue their dominance. But what makes the Eagles so dangerous is their ability to build through the draft and add players who fit their system and culture. Whether it's Elijah Thompson locking down opposing receivers, Miles Richardson bringing versatility to the linebacking corps, or Marcus Fields adding another weapon to the offense, the Eagles have the depth and talent to compete with anyone. As always, Howie Roseman has shown that he understands what it takes to build a championship contender. And the 2025 draft was no exception. With a franchise that has now become synonymous with success, the Eagles' future looks incredibly bright. For the fans, there's a sense of excitement and anticipation as the team looks to make another deep run toward the Super Bowl. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a highly anticipated move, Kendrick Bourne has officially confirmed his arrival at the Philadelphia Eagles, signaling the latest addition to an already impressive roster. The veteran wide receiver, known for his reliability and ability to make plays in clutch situations, has signed with the Eagles, adding depth and experience to the team's receiving core. Bourne's decision to join Philadelphia comes after several seasons with the New England Patriots, where he carved out a reputation as a consistent target for quarterbacks. With the Eagles' offensive scheme focused on maximizing the potential of their playmakers, Bourne's skill set seems to fit perfectly with the team's high-flying offense. His agility, quickness, and ability to create separation will undoubtedly benefit the Eagles' passing game, providing quarterback Jalen Hurts with another trustworthy weapon on the field. Over the years, Bourne has demonstrated his versatility, capable of working in various roles within the offense. Whether lining up in the slot or on the outside, he has shown the ability to make key catches and deliver when it matters most. This versatility makes him a valuable asset for the Eagles, who are looking to build on their recent success and make another deep playoff run. In a statement following the announcement of his signing, Bourne expressed his excitement about joining the Eagles organization and contributing to the team's championship aspirations. "I'm really excited to be a part of this team and to help them continue to build on the momentum they've already created," Bourne said. "I've seen the talent on this team, and I'm looking forward to being a part of something special." Cheers! Eagles, who made it to the NFC Championship game last season, have already assembled a strong offensive lineup, but Bourne's addition could elevate their potential even further. His knack for making tough catches and contributing in key moments will add an extra layer of depth to the Eagles' already formidable receiving group. which includes standout players like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. As the Eagles head into this upcoming season with high expectations, the addition of Kendrick Bourne gives them another weapon to unleash on opponents. His experience in high-pressure situations and his ability to step up when needed will make him a key figure in the Eagles' quest for success. With this acquisition, Philadelphia has further solidified its position as one of the top teams in the NFC, and fans are eager to see how Bourne will fit into the team's offensive plans as they aim for another championship run. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.